Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. The war rages on in Syria and especially in Aleppo. We have the privilege of being granted a first-hand account of the situation there. Our guest today is Jacques Beres, a surgeon, a co-founder of Doctors Without Borders. Thank you very much for coming on the France 24 interview. You just spent 2 weeks in Aleppo in a hospital with very, very long days trying to treat the wounded and also seeing quite a few dead people. Can you tell us what you saw in Aleppo? On one side you have the government, tanks, helicopters, planes. On the other side, the rebels who have been trying to seize control of that very important town.
And between these two forces, there are many civilians also who had no possibility to escape from Aleppo. Many of them did escape already, maybe 300,000 people escaped from Aleppo already, but it's a huge city, Aleppo, bigger than Paris, you know, and many civilians remain. And they are suffering very much by bombing, by shelling, and even snipers. And also there are some attacks against civilians, even just when they are doing queue to buy bread.
Have you witnessed such incidents?
Yeah, and I even received the poor baker shot dead from his shop. Yeah, it was very sad. It has been a report of Human Rights Watch about that, these attacks against bakeries, you know, in Aleppo. And it's kind of slaughter. I mean, it's a crime against humanity, not only war crimes. To bomb without knowing who is under the bombing, it's a crime against humanity. And to attack civilians like that with all possibilities, except, for instance, gases, but maybe it's not excluded completely, unfortunately. It's crime against humanity.
From you were spent your days, doing surgery on people. You were very close from the front lines.
Yeah.
You had been to Syria twice before, in Homs and in Idlib, and you were in a different location. There you were really very close to the combatants and very close to the war.
Yeah, in Homs I was maybe still nearer. But it was not a front line. It was just Bab Emro was a district which was bombed and all day long. And I was very, very close from the district without receiving bombing in each shot. But in Aleppo, the hospital I was in was really close to the front lines, maybe 800 meters, something like that, which is very close. But on the other hand, it was a very good hospital, not a makeshift clinic as it was in Homs, but a real hospital with 2 theaters working quite well, and a complete staff, and a devoted nurses, doctors, and everybody very hard workers all day long, night also. So it was. I was very, very happy to be able to work with them.
Right, and I mean, hospitals have also sometimes been the target, reportedly, of the government.
Yeah, they have been very much in Idlib. Nearly all the locations I was in have been bombed 2 or 3 or 4 days after I tried to fix a makeshift clinic. It was very difficult. They really attacked the hospitals, the Mashfa Midani, as they say in Arabic, makeshift clinic. And also the army did attack the drugstore, the pharmacies, even by killing the pharmacian. And that also is not a battle against terrorists. It's a mass assassination of its own people.
So you spent 2 weeks. Given the numbers of wounded, of dead people that you saw, can you more or less measure the intensity of the fight in Aleppo? At least the number of dead people. I know it's very difficult to extrapolate. There are lots of controversies.
Yeah.
But what is your take?
It's very difficult because I was too close from the front line, so I received many wounded people. In the free zone of Aleppo, there are only two major hospitals, real hospitals. The one I was in and another called Bab Shifa Hospital, and also many makeshift clinics between them. But in the location I was working in, we did receive between 25 and 40 wounded people each day, and between 2, 3, or 6, 7 dead people each day. And I'm convinced that all the dead people have not been reported up to London, to the observatory. I'm sure of that, because there was nobody to make a relay between the hospital and the information center in London. The names, the identities of the dead people were just written by hand on a book, in the hospital. That's all. So I'm convinced, but I've been convinced for many months already, that the numbers are far under the reality, unfortunately. And we are not about 28,000 dead people, but at least 50,000 dead people, at least.
Okay, I want to get to what you found, and what you said was something new in terms of the kind of combatants you saw in your hospital, namely foreign so-called jihadists. Mm-hmm. That's the big change that you saw, and you think it's a worrying one.
Sure, it is. But also, maybe it's a completely distorted point of view because of my proximity of the front line. Because the relationship between the Free Syrian Army from the beginning and these new jihadists is more or less difficult. So these jihadists are sent in the first line of the battle. So they receive many they have many casualties. But there were more than 50% out of the warriors I had to take care of.
Sure. Were foreigners.
Were jihadists, not only foreigners, but jihadists. I mean, with the look of jihadists, just with the barb, the Quranic verses on the forehead. Right. And saying each time Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And their mates, when they came to visit them, said frankly they were jihadists.
You also met some Westerners, some people who were coming from Western countries. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, in the hospital there were two young French jihadists, and very young and completely so sure, so quiet, seeming so quiet, so with kind of peace on their face, and nice-looking guys, and they were saying that the example to follow in France was Mohamed Merah.
Mohammed Merah, who killed several people,
in
including in a Jewish school.
in Toulouse.
Right.
Yeah.
And this trend, I mean, do you think that Western authorities are aware that there are some jihadists coming from France or other Western countries to Syria?
But on the other hand, it's completely the culpability of the Western governments, which did nearly nothing to try to help. You know, the Syrian revolution began in a pacific way 18 months ago, and it's terrific. We did not help them. We just let them like that alone, being killed, murdered by the criminal regime of Bashar al-Assad. And now the casualties are more than 50,000 people dead, which is a huge number. It's a middle class town disappearing.
Do you think they will eventually prevail, that the regime will fall?
I'm sure we had something to do to try to help them by giving them weapons, correct weapons, to try to make the match not so unfair.
Okay, Jacques Pérez, thank you very much for your first-hand account from Aleppo, and thank you very much for watching this edition of the interview here on France 24.